Welcome, adventurers. This is the Fight and Fantasy playlist. My name is Adam, and in this episode, episode 10, we are looking at The House of Hell. The House of Hell was written by Steve Jackson. That's the British Steve Jackson. And the cover illustrations were done by Ian Miller, and the inside illustrations were done by Tim Sell. And I tell you, see, I've already opened it up to the major enemy there. The front cover looks so cool. House of Hell is a firm favorite with the fans. The picture art for the front cover is just like it's so cool. And this is probably the most accessible book in the entire series. I'll read you the inside bit. You'll probably understand why, and then we'll talk about it. Stranded miles from anywhere on a dark and stormy night, your only hope of refuge is the strange ramshackle house you can see in the distance. But beware! Entering the doors of the infamous House of Hell takes you into an adventure of such spine-chilling and blood-curdling proportions that its nightmarish inhabitants will haunt you forever. Countless unwary strangers have entered the House of Hell before you, and not one has lived to tell the tale. Do you dare to follow them? Now, it's set in a house, okay, and around, and it's really cleverly written. Now, I've got to say that out of the two writers for Fight and Fantasy, there is one more that produces not as much work, but a higher quality level of work, and the other produces a lot of work, and it's very good work. Steve Jackson produces very interesting stories, very interesting game stories. This is no exception. This is probably the most accessible book by anybody because it doesn't say that it's set on Titan, okay? And because you have a car in the book at the beginning, it's set on Earth. It must be set on Earth. For me, I always feel that it's set in like 1950s, 1960s Earth, okay? That it's set in that sort of old time period. And it's it's a very easy book to read and get lost in, but it opens up the imagination for so much. This like could really be, I know they have tried to make it a film. There was a group of people who tried to make it an interactive film, and it's like, well, it's not a horror story if it's interactive. If you then come and got to make a choice every now and again, you're taken out of that horror, and you're sort of made self-aware, and then therefore it's not scary anymore. So it doesn't work as an interactive movie, but definitely a movie. Now, one could argue that the People Under the Stairs, or the film House, or even the film Dragnet, is very similar in its story to this book. They're almost like the story for this book. They're almost like that movie that you wanted to see. Okay, it could be very easily made into a movie as the introduction to other films for the series of this Fight and Fantasy series. And then have other movies come out for other books, or even a TV series. It's a real fun read. I've played this many, many times, okay? And even though you play it that many times, you still find it hard, I think, to get through it. As I say, the internal cover, the internal artwork, it's really nice. Now, Tim Sell, I didn't do a lot of work for the Fight and Fantasy, but what he did do was great, okay? And Ian Miller is a regular for the cover art, and it's a brilliant cover art. And I praise this book a lot. In fact, this book has been developed into a script beyond the movie that was made, which maybe one day we'll get to see. Who knows? But that's it for this episode. Leave your comments in the description box below, in the comment section, sorry, and tell me what you thought of playing this book and how you came across it, and all your stories. And I shall see you in the next episode. Take care, adventurers. Bye bye.